This video will talk about how to solve a polynomial where there may be both real and complex solutions. So here I have my polynomial, and as anytime we get ready to solve a higher order polynomial, we want to first get it equal to 0. So I'm going to do that by getting everything on one side. All right, so I've got my x fourth minus 2 x cubed, and now I'm going to bring this over by having a positive x squared and minus 2x, and now that's going to be equal to 0. And now in this particular polynomial, I can see that I can factor out an x out of every single term, and this will make my life a little easier, I hope. All right, so this is going to be x cubed minus 2x squared plus x and then minus 2. Right? I still have a third degree polynomial, okay, but at least it's not a fourth. Now, whenever I'm solving higher order polynomials, the easiest thing to do is to see if there are any real solutions by graphing it. So I actually graph the original polynomial, okay, to see where my real solutions are. So I can click over in Excel and look at my graph of that polynomial. It's given here. I see I have one solution at x equals 0. In other words, my graph of my polynomial crosses the x-axis at x equals 0, and I have another solution when x equals 2. Okay, so I know right away x equals 0 is going to apply to that, and I have a solution when x equals 2. So what I want to do is actually divide this polynomial by x minus 2 in order to get it in terms of a quadratic. Okay, so I'm going to divide this polynomial by x minus 2. And now you can use synthetic division as well. That's easier, but we'll do it the hard way. All right, so I say what times x gives me x cubed? That's going to be an x squared. Get an x cubed minus 2 x squared. And now when I subtract that, that becomes a negative, that becomes a positive. So actually this cancels each other out. All right, and now I can bring down an x minus 2. All right, so it's actually going to be x squared plus 1 left. Okay, so in order to solve x squared plus 1 equals 0, okay, what I need to do, I can subtract 1 both sides. I get x squared equals negative 1, and then I can take the square root of both sides. So I get that x is going to be equal to plus or minus the square root of negative 1, or x is equal to plus or minus. Remember, the square root of negative 1 is defined as I, so x is equal to plus or minus I. So in this particular problem, I end up with 4 solutions. 2 are real and 2 are imaginary. My first solution is x equals 0. My second real solution is x equals 2. I could have read those straight off the graph like I showed before. What I couldn't have read off the graph is x equals plus or minus I. Okay, I had to actually solve for that. In this particular case, we got lucky in that we were left with x squared plus 1, so I can just solve that here. But if I'd ended up with something like x squared plus 2x plus 1 or something of the like, I would have to use the quadratic formula here. So that is an example of how to solve a higher order polynomial with both real and imaginary solutions.